Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. Now, as you know, President Biden has been fighting hard to get the Build Back Better agenda going. There's a battle right now between Bernie Sanders on one side, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on one side, and Senator Joe Manchin on the other, Senator Kristen Sinema from Arizona on the other. And the entire Build Back Better agenda could be at stake here. In fact, folks, there's a battle, if you will, between the left and the right, between the Republicans and the Democrats. Now, I want you to know that in the end, I believe that the best ideas come through when we combine the best thoughts, the best insights from both the Republican and the Democratic Party. Unfortunately, we are in such a divisive climate that it's really hard for people to get along. In fact, I believe that progress in America, the entire infrastructure plan, should not be about the left or the right. It should not be about the liberals versus the conservatives. It should not be about the moderates versus the progressives. It shouldn't be anything that makes us fight and argue with each other. Unfortunately, the way politics is, divisiveness sells. Harsh rhetoric, nasty language, calling each other names, that is what sells. That is what leads to more votes. That is what leads to more fundraising. When was the last time we heard a politician say, hey, I agree with the other side. Maybe we can do something better. Nope, folks, that is not the world we live in. In the world that we live in, the other side is not just criticized. We don't just disagree with the other side. We demonize the other side. We throw them down and we try and punch them when they are down. Unfortunately, this is the state of politics in our country right now. You've heard me say this before. Politics is about timing. It's about opportunity. It's about tribalism. And it is about perception. It's always about us against them. I believe this should not be about conservative America versus liberal America. This shouldn't be about progressives and moderates. This should be about one America. This should not be about the red or the blue. It should be about the red, white, and blue. Now, just like you, I'm not naive enough to think that we'll all come together, have a kumbaya moment, and everything's going to be fine. But I want us to look at the big picture here, and I want us to realize that we can move forward as a country. We can recover from this horrific pandemic. We can get back to life as we know it. We can live the American dream as we know it if we come together and if we try and take the best ideas from each other. We shouldn't be competing with each other. We shouldn't be complacent about what we have. We should think of this as one united mission where the country moves forward. I want you to know that I think that there are politicians on both sides who are absolute scumbags. Yes, I said it. Yep, I said it. And I actually believe you know who I think those scumbags are. But let's focus on the bright side. I believe there are politicians on both sides who are very, very intelligent. They want what's best for the American people. They want what's best for their constituents. And their heart is in the right place. Not every single lawmaker is bad or is corrupt, but I would say a significant portion of the lawmakers have their hearts and minds in the right place. The problem is coming to a consensus. The problem is trying to come together and do what's best for the American people in a timely manner. Now, historically, all throughout the history of America, when there have been moments of great crisis, 9/11 was one of them, the Great Recession was one of them, and also, of course, the pandemic in March last year was one of them. Whenever there have been periods of great trauma and great tragedy facing our nation, all lawmakers from both sides have come together to try and do what's best for the country. And I think that's what led to this massive economic recovery in a year and a half. Remember, the last Great Recession, the economy took 5 to 6 years to recover completely. Here, we've recovered for the most part in a year and a half, and the economy has completely re-engineered itself. So, what is the next step forward for the history of America? Well, as far as President Biden is concerned, the next step is opportunity versus decay. In fact, here's an important quote from President Biden when he's talking about his Build Back Better agenda and the $3.5 trillion plan. President Biden says this: these bills are not about left versus right or moderate versus progressive or anything else that pits Americans against one another. These bills are about competitiveness versus complacency, opportunity versus decay. Well said, Mr. President. In fact, let's roll the tape and hear what the president had to say, where he talks about the importance of the Build Back Better agenda. Let's roll the tape and hear from President Biden.
Economists left, right, and center agree. Earlier this year, Moody's on Wall Street projected that the investments in these bills will bring us a higher GDP and additional 2 million jobs per year and lower unemployment. These bills are not about left versus right, or modern versus progressive, or anything else that pits Americans against one another. These bills are about competitiveness versus complacency. Competitiveness versus complacency. Opportunity versus decay. They're about leading the world, or whether we're going to let the world pass us by. The American people understand what's at stake here. They understand that when workers and families have a better shot, America has a better shot. Given half a chance, the American people have never, ever let their country down. Today, we receive more evidence of the progress we're making. And I know we can make a lot more in the days ahead.
So what do you think? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you believe that the Build Back Better agenda will lead to more jobs, will lead to better infrastructure, and will lead to a re-emergence of the American economy? The latest September jobs report, which I did cover on our channel, had some horrific data where hundreds of thousands of women dropped out of the labor workforce while men joined the labor workforce. Folks, this is leading to a permanent shift in the US economy, and I believe that these are dangerous signs that we need to keep an eye on. We want everyone to be working. We want people to be safe. We want people to do the work that they want to do, to have dignity of labor and to be compensated well. And in order to do that, we need more jobs, we need more public safety measures, and we need people to feel comfortable that they're going to be safe. We need them to feel comfortable that their kids will be in school. We need them to feel comfortable that childcare is something they don't have to worry about. We need to make them feel that everything in our country is working the way it's supposed to. And the infrastructure plan from President Biden, the Build Back Better agenda, can get us past this hump that we are facing in the economic recovery right now. Folks, if you think that life is back to normal for you, I think that's great. But the problem is life is still not back to normal for millions of our fellow Americans. And there are pockets within the country where people are still struggling to get their lives back, still struggling to get their jobs back. And they are struggling to live the American dream, especially if they were in the travel, leisure, entertainment, and hospitality industry. And that is the reality facing America today. Thank you so much for watching. Please click the like button. Please click subscribe. Please enable notifications. I would really appreciate that. Please follow me on Twitter. This right here is my Twitter feed. My Twitter handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. Let me know what you thought of the president's comments and the Build Back Better agenda, and about competitiveness versus complacency, about opportunity versus decay. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.